Continues in Malawi's general election, political parties have been cautioned against declaring themselves winners before the Malawi Electoral Commission has formally released the results. It comes after the ruling Malawi Congress Party claimed victory. And to discuss this and more, we are joined on the line by a political scientist and lecturer at the University of Malawi, Enerst Thindwa. Ernest, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, Ernest, these elections were seen as a two-horse race between Lazarus Chakwera and Peter Mutharika. What about former President Joyce Banda, who also contested? Where does she fit into the picture?
As you rightly said, this is a two-horse race. Incumbent President Lazarus Chakwera of the Malawi Congress Party and Arthur Peter Mutharika of the DPP, the largest opposition, and he is a former president. Joyce Banda really is not doing very well, and that is expected. All surveys that have been done pre-election did suggest Joyce Banda didn't have a chance. The most optimistic projection for Joyce Banda vote share was at 2%. This time she is attracting less than 1%. So she is not doing well, and not surprising.
And now let's take a look at the former president Peter Mutharika, 85 years old, and people have clearly rallied behind him. What are the reasons behind the continued support that he is seeing?
You know, this is an election which I would describe as an election for no approval. It's either maintenance or rejection, meaning maintaining the current administration or rejecting it. Voting for Peter Mutharika, not that people have so much hope in Peter Mutharika. As you rightly said, he's 85 years old, but also the previous record is not so impressive. However, people have turned to the opposition as an alternative because they are presenting a vote of protest. They have been extremely disappointed because the current administration came on a platform of fixing the economy and dealing with corruption, which is a huge problem for the Malawian government. Now, the incumbent administration has done badly on both. The economy is in tatters. Inflation is quite high. Prices are rising every day. And as you can imagine, unemployment in Malawi is too high and people's buying capacity is too low because this is one of the poorest countries in the world. Beyond that, as I said, the fight against corruption really, instead of launching a real fight against corruption, corruption seems to be taking pace. So the current administration has failed miserably on all electoral pledges. The reason people are looking at the 85-year-old as an alternative, not as an approval, but the rejection of the current administration.
Now, over more than 60% of registered voters turned out to cast their ballots. What do you make of the voter apathy?
It is an issue that we really need to interrogate further, but preliminary suggestions would be that really, if you look at recent surveys regarding citizen support for democracy and elections, the rating, or rather people's voice, suggests they have no faith in democracy, they have no faith in elections. Actually, the survey report suggests that there is an increasing number now that is losing faith in democracy and would rather have a dictatorship, though it remains a very small proportion of such views, but it has been increasing in recent years, meaning people are not seeing any link between their voting exercise and their well-being. They see no link. If anything, living conditions are worsening. Periodically, every 5 years, they are voting. being promised things will get better. Instead of getting better, they are getting worse. That's one reason that could explain the increasing voter apathy, because there is no really improvement in people's lives despite being urged to go out and vote.
Now, caution given to political parties not to declare victory ahead of the official announcement by the Malawi Electoral Commission. Why do you think it is very important for, this to be done, especially when it comes to the official announcements, where we found previously that there would be announcements of individuals declaring themselves winners and just causing a lot of friction, for lack of a better word?
That is particularly significant for the Malawi Electoral Commission, because the Commission understands the stakes are too high, particularly for the incumbent administration and the largest opposition party, which is DPP. The stakes are too high because Malawian politics is a zero-sum game. You win or you lose. If you lose, the prices to pay are quite high. So interest really are very entrenched. The reason parties have come forward to declare a victory, even when they have no supporting data to do so. Ideally, it's about mind games, so that they can influence the voters' perception. The vote is being counted. Earlier indications suggested the 85-year-old Peter Mutharika of the opposition party is in the lead, but those indications were largely based on results that have been collected by the media and the other institutions that have an interest in the electoral process, and concentrating in the area where the opposition party is very strong. The results from the stronghold of the incumbent administration are just coming in, and they are showing a good performance by the incumbent administration. Yeah. That being the case, the general picture is that the incumbent administration is trailing the opposition party. As a result, the ruling party went further to declare victory, and the opposition party responded by also declaring victory. All this is about mind games. Really, it's not so clear about who is going to win this election. But as I said, indications suggest the opposition party is taking an early lead.
Yeah. Well, Enerst, we have run out of time and are going to have to leave it there for today. Thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was a political scientist and lecturer at the University of Malawi, Enerst Thindwa, joining us on the line.
Africa